Hi guys, so this is part 2. If you want to watch part 1, please watch part 1 before watching this, because you'll come in halfway through, it'll all sound a little bit fragmented to you, and it's important to get your drift. I'm sorry, I've not yet learned how to stitch videos together, but I actually do prefer this way of doing the videos, so it gives you a break as well. So let's get into it. So we're channeling Charlotte Brontë. Please do watch part 1. If you've not watched part 1 yet, it's in the description at the side, so click on the title of this video. The description box should come up at the side and there'll be the link there to part 1, okay? So in the first part we discussed past lives, we discussed Daphne du Maurier, we discussed all kinds of magical and wonderful things, we discussed timelines, we discussed quantum leaping, we discussed brilliant stuff, we discussed how she looked, that she did in fact look like this, okay? That back. And now in this segment she wants to talk about her passing and marriage. So let's get into that. Oh, I didn't do my numerology. Sorry, apologies, I went straight into it. Right, so sorry, I should have done this in part 1, but I didn't. Apologies. So Charlotte Brontë, numerology, which is really interesting. Born the 21st of April 1816, passed on the 31st of March 1855. So that makes her number 24, which is family, harmony and companionship. 2 and 4 equals 6, which is trustful, dependable, romanticist, hedonistic and charming. And I think that sums her up perfectly, okay? So apologies for not giving that in the first video. I just went with the energy and just flowed with it. So I want to pull some cards using my literary witches oracle. Okay, so can you give us 3 cards, Charlotte, please, for those watching? 3 cards. You know, for those doubters out there, which we get them in every video, sometimes they'll comment, sometimes they'll just send some energy. It's moments like this that blow your mind. Okay, this is Emily Brontë, fantasy. So I've just asked Charlotte Brontë to give me 3 cards. I always take the card at the bottom as well. Mary Shelley, loss. Now, if you're watching this video, you more than likely know the bare basics of the Brontë video, the loss, the parsonage at the graveyard. If you've seen part 1, you'll know I spoke about how being living near the graveyard affected them, the portals, etc. And it's just moments like this that just feel really sacred. You'll also know that in part 1, Charlotte Brontë made tea for us all, okay? And this is the teacup that she's giving us. You also know that she was a romantic novelist. We've got the card of love, Sappho, the card of love. We've also got Toni Morrison, the card of power. And you can be both, you can be both. And it feels as though this is there's so many different messages. Do you know, she's so fascinating. I could spend all day just channeling this lady. Honestly, it's unbelievable. And I'm hoping you can feel the energy too. Ooh. Oh. I'm wondering, because how I've got, I mean, you can't see it, apologies, but I'll put these pictures up on my Instagram. Emily Brontë and Mary Shelley feel as though they are one and the same, as though they're reincarnations of each other. Not sure, I know the birth dates of Emily, not sure of this one, but we know that incarnation can work where we have multiple incarnations at the same time. And there's a reason why I've put those 2 together. These 4 people, Charlotte, Emily and Branwell, their crown chakras are boom. Honestly, it's amazing to be in this energy. Yes. So obviously she was the authoress of love. You know, one of you asked, what does Charlotte think of romance in today? What do you think of romance today, Charlotte? She's saying it's overrated. And I asked her, I said, why do you think it's overrated? She's saying because true romance is what she wrote about in Jane Eyre. Don't get triggered about that, okay? Because I know people get so triggered. I'm a feminist. Okay. Yeah, that feral Morse. I mean, it's weird because as I'm filming this, it's raining outside, and whenever I think of the Brontes for me personally, I think rain, wind, howling moors, fires burning, you know, the fire in the hearth. And romance, she said, isn't about flowers and romantic dinner dates, and it's about walks on the heath in the rain. It's about sitting in companionable silence, reading books together. It's about having a debate, not an argument, a debate of ideas. This is her view of the romance, having a debate of ideas. It's about learning from each other. And she's showing me her own marriage, still going into her own marriage now. That wasn't love story, she's saying, it was companionship. It was companionship, and she's saying at the time she was a woman of her time, because as a woman back in Victorian days, you know, if you didn't get married, your father was responsible for you. When your father passed, if you had an older brother, he then became responsible for you. So obviously we've got the brother that's passed, we've got the father that's ailing, that's elderly. When he goes, she would then become homeless, and it feels as though it's more of a, it doesn't feel like it's a romance. There was love there, but not, it wasn't the romantic love, but what that we perceive as romantic love, but it was companionship, and it was companionable love. And it was a safety net, it was a safety net. Let's pull some cards. So, there's 3 cards for your marriage, please, Charlotte. 3 cards for your marriage. For those watching. Not to be intrusive. Taken to history at the bottom, history. This deck I'm using is called the Literary Witches Oracle, and it's all about female authors, historical female authors. Jamaica Kincaid, Jamaica in when I saw that. Eileen Chang, fate. It was fate. They were meant to marry, they were meant to be together. It was all part of a soul contract. It was to give her that. One of the things I started to feel just before I came on to film was I went quite sickly, and I felt quite, not scared of doing this video, but you know when you have a panic attack, I used to have them like this, where it would come out in the need to be sick, and it felt as though she was quite scared towards the last couple of years, or the last year, as she saw people passing, and they had, you know, living in the graveyard, and knowing that what's going to happen to me when Dad passes, etc, etc. And it feels as though his contract was to step in and to marry her. The hedgehog, transformation, the book. He feels like a very quiet man, and she's almost saying he did what he needed to do. He did what he needed to do. They, as part of their soul contract, they came together. It wasn't a big fairy tale. It was very different. It was very, it's almost like systematic. It was just very, as it was at the time. I would not to judge it. I want to, because I'm not used to using this deck, and I feel as though there's stuff that I am needing to get also from the book, because this is quite a deep deck. Hedgehog. Oh, that's interesting. I just felt an awful pain in my wrist there, like a tugging, and I was shown shackles. Bear with me. And what I was showing with symbolism was he was actually quite controlling. He was a Victorian man of his time, and he was quite stifling. He was quite stifling, and I'm not hedgehog. Vulnerability, hiding the heart, tenderness, vulnerability, hiding the heart, tenderness. He feels as though, we know the Brontes were quite from part one. They were in the mind, imagination. He's a very, you know, I don't want to say 3D man, that's wrong, but he was quite a Victorian man of his time. He didn't like, it feels as though he wasn't that keen on her time away from him neither. And that last stage of her life, it feels as though it was quite heavy, quite lonely, and her creative push wasn't there. And she says she feels as though it's in those last few books, those last couple of books, was it Valette and Shirley? And it feels as though she wasn't on top form. She wasn't on top form. Because when she married him, there was his life as well, and as a Victorian lady, you open up to his life. Okay. And she's saying it was all very inconsequential. Inconsequential. She prefers to think of her life and remember her. I picked up the moon as well. She prefers to remember her life as it was with the siblings in happier times. She really struggles after the last death, so that would have been Anne, because life just went really heavy for her, and she really struggled. And she's shown me actually in some days struggling to get out of bed. And she's saying the word bipolar. It feels as though she actually started to suffer with some form of clinical depression. And she really struggled mentally. She struggled with the ghosts, the memories in the parsonage. She struggled to be in there. She struggled with the memory. She struggled with the empty table. She struggled to eat. She's saying she wasn't eating enough, and she became quite thin. One of the things she showed me was her passing. And when you do readings about you get to the passing, it's always remember that it's sacred, and that's why I don't like to delve too deeply into it. But one of the things she showed me was ovarian cancer. And that she actually passed alone. She passed alone. They woke up, she passed overnight, and they woke up and they went into the bedroom and she'd gone. She's showing me towards the end that she became scared of passing because she'd witnessed siblings passing, and she'd witnessed the pain of passing. You know, this wasn't a time of modern medicine where people could be in intensive care, etc., or given tablets to help them on medication. This was where they would be writhing about in beds and sweating and being sick and etc. And she's saying as she got to the end, and she's in bed and she's looked, there was a chair in the corner of the bedroom, and she used to see Branwell there, and Branwell used to just sit with her, obviously in spirit, and it helped to ease her passing, because she also felt as though when Bramwell was alive that she didn't help him in the ways that she could have helped him. There was all that thing about doing the books, writing the books, using the Cura Bell, Acton Bell, Ellis Bell, because obviously there was a Bramwell that wanted to write books, but for various reasons due to addiction he couldn't write books, and they were trying to keep it away from him to protect him, but it had the opposite effect because obviously he found out. And she felt guilty over that, and she felt guilty that she felt as though was she in some way to blame for his passing, but she knew that no, she wasn't. It was inevitable anyway. And what she's saying, one of the things that Branwell said to her in that period when she was close to passing was that actually, yes, it helped to quicken his passing, but he was struggling in life, and life was painful, physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually, and actually it helped to give him that push that he needed to pass over so he could reconfigure at the other side, if that makes sense. So could we have 3 cards for your passing, Charlotte? 3 cards for your passing. It feels as though there's so much more to come from this video. Vision, Virginia Woolf. Anne was Virginia Woolf. A passing. Sandra, Cisneros, the body. Yeah, if you look, she's holding, she's got her hands around the sacral chakra area. Agatha Christie, trickery. There is a lot of people that have gone into the Brontë thing and they've trampled over it. And I was reading the other day, was it last week, where we only get to see the version of the Brontes that is of the time they were written about. So if they were written about in the 60s or a film production, you see that vision. There's a new film coming out of Emily that is, they're making her out to be a vixen, they're making her out to be, you know, and she wasn't like that. So we never get to see the true ones. And she was, sorry, I'm going to tell now that she was surrounded by lots of spirit animals as well. Maybe her spirit animal is wolf. Virginia Woolf vision. When they were passing, it's like they had to go into some more like a shamanic state. That each one that died, you know, Branwell, Emily, Anne, Charlotte, they actually went into some type of a shamanic state before that. If you know about shamanism, the shamans go into like near-death experiences. In some cases they die and then they come back again. And it feels as though they actually had a real shamanic death of real pain. Don't let it trigger you. Difficult, purgy, traumatic, but it was like the shamans do it, they come back. The shamans do that. And I've done something similar, but not to the extent of a shaman will go through it, where you go to the brink of death and you'll come back. But with these, they went through the portal and they went to the other side. So there's a shamanic theme coming through them. They've been healers, they've been writers, they've been creators, they've been, you know, I want even to say they're vloggers, as we know. This is the present incarnations and future incarnations. And it's going to keep going, it's going to keep going. This creative streak is going to keep going. Some lifetimes, in fact she's saying none of our lifetimes are simple. In future and past and present, they've all been really deep, meaningful lifetimes. You know, like some people just come and they just live a life, they plod along and that's it, they pass over, not judging it. When these incarnate, it's never simple. It's never just plodding along. They come and they boom. It's a volcano, and it's almost like when the seed comes into the womb, it's like boom, and it's big. It's really big, and it's going to continue to be big. You look at J.K. Rowling at the minute. There's a lot of protection around J.K. Rowling at the minute, and a lot of what she's saying is taken out of context. And she said we seem to have this energy where everything we say gets manipulated or taken out of context. And she said that's in our soul contracts, where our words, our written words, our spoken words are manipulated and taken out of context. And she said what that is about is that them being at peace with that. She said because one of the things a soul doesn't like is not to be heard or judged, and because they've come in as such conflicting characters, it's about getting peace, being at peace with that, being at peace with your book that's precious to you, that is a fragment of your heart and soul, being judged and being ridiculed and being cancelled. Maybe that's coming in future. Wouldn't surprise me. Or is that coming with JK? But she said we need these experiences, There's so much I want to say. I wanted to go into create messages for creatives that are watching. She's saying just do it. Don't be put off. Keep an open mind. Don't be put off. Keep an open mind and keep doing it. Keep writing, keep painting, keep drawing, keep videoing. Whatever it is that's creative to you, just keep doing it. But take time off. And know that there is a difference between writing for joy, creating for joy, to writing to the side for, you know, for a publisher. And she's saying you need a thick skin. We need thick skins to go into creativeness. Not to be hard and cold, but the judgments come in. I get it with videos. I get people telling me my videos are rubbish. You know, honestly, I do in comments, people come in, your videos rubbish. Oh, clap, clap, clap. Used to get me down in the past. I laugh now when it comes in and just delete them and block them. But it's the same if I did books, if I did art, if I did anything else. You know, you're always going to get the naysayers, you're always going to get the haters, you're always going to get the manipulators. And she said a lot of people are being put off creating because of that. And this could be past life stuff as well. She's saying again what I said in this week's video on here. You know, we've got independent publishing, we've got Instagram, we've got platforms now. So don't let the naysayers put you off, okay? Don't let any of that put you off. Keep doing it. Bounce ideas off of each other. And she's also saying they are always there to help you. Even though they reincarnate, they're at their essence, their soul essence. Charlotte, Emily, Anne, Branwell, Daphne, whoever you feel comfortable connecting with, you can call on them. You can call on them to help you. Not to channel. She says a lot of people are trying to absorb vampire energy. I'm going to write a book and channel. And that's wrong. That's wrong. You can't channel Emily Brontë to write your book. What you can do is you can ask her to step forward. And they will help you through the process. They'll never take over your hand, because that's your hand. But what they will do is they will, she says, drop little ideas into the mind, okay? So, are we going to be revisiting Charlotte in the future? Let me know in the comments if you want to revisit Charlotte in the future, or the Brontes. One of the others I'm going to be doing once I get back off holiday, we'll look at Branwell, okay? Because I think these videos really do help people. And I want to say thank you to Charlotte for stepping forward for us. I want to say thank you for watching. And I think we do an emoji thing on this channel now. So the emoji, if you've got to the end of part 2, I want you to drop me a heart, for the love heart for the Brontes next to a pile of books. And I want it to be for the Brontes, but also for future creatives, to open a portal up that all these future creatives that are out there that are doubting themselves, all of a sudden, that love heart, that little emoji of books, drops in the brain and they fire up, because we need more books, we need more art, we need more pottery, we need more card makers, we need more love makers, we need more everything, okay? Thank you for watching, and we'll now leave the parsonage and we're going out of the front door and we're walking out of the gate, and we're thanking Charlotte as well. And as we walk out of the gate, she waves, she nods, and she thanks us, and she wishes us well on our way. And I'm going really cold. And anytime she can be called upon. She's a lot stronger than it's been made out. She's not a little curiosity. She's a beautiful woman and a strong mind, so you can call her. She's also saying she can help people that are going through addictions. Family members that are struggling with addictions, all of the siblings can be called on for that. So thank you for watching. Please do like, comment, subscribe. If you've enjoyed this, I've got 2 playlists. I've got a channeling playlist with loads of other channelings on, and I've got the Brontë playlist, which has got other stuff on. That's got Emily and other stuff on there, okay? Thanks for watching. If you've watched this, please do make sure you get both parts in, part 1 and 2, which will be in the description. Thanks for watching, love to all, and I will see you all later, bye.